Hi, this is Helena, and in this video, I wanted to give you something you can say to a man that will demonstrate your value and inspire him to make you more of a priority in his life. I've just been hearing from so many women lately who feel like they're not being prioritized by the man in their life or by all the men they're dating. If they're single and meeting new men and they just feel like the men they're attracting don't seem to be moving things forward or taking the relationship to the next level. So this works whether you're single or in a relationship. And hopefully this will be helpful for you if this is the situation you're in right now. I've been there myself, so I know how painful and confusing it can be. And one of the number one questions I get from women in this situation is, well, should I say something? Should I bring it up and have a conversation about it? Or should I just lean back and see what he does? And while every situation is different, there's no real one-size-fits-all advice. Hopefully this will give you some ideas of something you can say if you're ready to have a conversation about it. But before I get started, if you're new to my channel, click the button to subscribe to get all of my videos on how to attract the man and the relationship you want. So like I mentioned, every situation is different, but I wanted to give you a template that you can kind of use for any situation where you feel like a man isn't really, realizing your value or, treating you like a top priority, depending on where you're at, in if you're in the early stages of dating, or even if, you've been with a man for years or decades. This will really help inspire him to take your feelings and needs into account, when he's planning and making decisions and things like that. So the basic template is, I want X, but I need Y. And of course, you're not going to say it exactly like that. You want to kind of change the wording so it feels authentic and true to you. But you want to start with what you want. And this works best as if it's a response to something a man is saying. So let me give you some different examples here. Something I hear all the time is that a man keeps texting a woman or calling, but he's not really asking her out. This could be if you're online dating and you haven't met him yet, or it could be someone you've been in kind of a casual relationship with for years, or it could be somewhere in the middle, somewhere in the early stages of dating. It happens all the time, right? A man's texting and showing up on your phone, but he's not asking you out. So what I would do in this situation, if you do want to say something, if he's texting, as a response, you could say, it feels really good texting you, or it feels great getting to know you. But actually what I'm looking for is like a regular dating relationship where we see each other in person. Or, it feels really good texting you and getting to know you, but I'm not much of a texter. What I actually am looking for is more of an in-person connection, or, someone I can, connect with in real life, depending on where you're at, like I mentioned, if you haven't met him yet or if you've been dating for a while. So you let him know what you want. Of course, you want to stay in connection with him, but what you actually need is a real relationship where you see each other in person. And then you can ask him what he thinks about that, or just see what he does. Now, the important thing here when you're delivering one of these scripts is you have to be willing to stick to that boundary and potentially walk away or not continue in that behavior. So if a man texts you, constantly but doesn't ask you out, and you say something like, it feels great getting to know you, I love being with you, and actually I'm feeling a little burnt out on texting, it would feel much better to connect in person sometime. If he continues to text you and doesn't ask you out, you have to draw that line and stop responding. You could maybe say it one more time if that feels appropriate, but don't continue texting him, because if what you're doing there is you're teaching him that what you say isn't really all that important, because men pick up on your behavior and your distance often much more than the words you're using. So important. Let me give you some more examples here. Another thing I hear all the time is men making last minute plans, right? And so something you can say is, it would feel great to see you. I love spending time with you. And last minute doesn't really work for me. I usually need a couple days in advance. What do you think? So you're telling him what you want. You would want to see him, but what you actually need is a few days notice, or whatever it is you need there. And if that continues, you can say something like, hey, I've really noticed that when you ask me out, it tends to be kind of last minute. And I love being spontaneous, and I really like you. I'd love to see you. But that really doesn't work for me. What I need is, a few days in advance so I can get a babysitter, or I can, arrange my schedule so I have that evening free, whatever it is there that you need. And then you can ask him what you think about that. Is that something that would work for you, or do you just is your work schedule so crazy that you're not usually available until the last minute? And you're just coming from a place of total curiosity. So the point of saying these things is not to like strategically make a man step up and prioritize you, right? That'll never work. It's to see what he does with that information. Does he make some adjustments and take your feelings into account or not? And if he's not able to do that in those early stages, trust me, that tendency will come out later. If a man can't take your needs and feelings into account in the early stages, likely he's not going to magically transform into someone who's able to do that in a relationship. So this is something you want to just get really comfortable doing early on, right? Start off on the right foot with this. It's so important. I want to give you some more examples, maybe getting into the later stages. If a man is, let's say, pushing things forward physically, if he wants to have sex before you feel ready, rather than shaming him and making him wrong and like overextending your boundaries out, what you want to say is, I want X, but I need Y. So that could look like, it would feel incredible to sleep with you. It feels so good being with you, and this is amazing. And, what I really need in order to feel comfortable sleeping with someone is to be in an exclusive relationship, or to be sexually exclusive, or to be in a, real serious commitment, whatever it is you need there. And then ask him what he thinks, right? So that would feel great. I want that. Here's what I need in order for that to happen. And, what about you? When do you feel comfortable, moving things forward in that way? And this could work in any situation. So I'd love to hear from you guys. I just wanted to come on and make a quick video giving you this template or something you can say. Now, of course, if you've just met a man, it's like the very early stages, sometimes it's good just to kind of lean back and watch what he does without any kind of prompting or trying to steer things in a certain direction, and just kind of watch him a little more dispassionately. But of course, when you're saying these things, you're not trying to steer things in a certain direction. You're simply expressing what would feel good to you, expressing that need, and letting him know that you would like to continue seeing him, and this is what you would need in order for that to happen. Let me give you one more quick example, because there's just so much to be said on this topic. And of course, let me know your guys' experiences and situations down below in the comment section. Maybe, everyone can help each other out. I love when that happens. Another question I get all the time, this just came to my mind right now, is if a man's hot and cold, right? He comes on strong and then he goes away. And women ask me, like, what should I say something? Should I address his hot and cold behavior, or should I just be warm and open and lean back and respond? And of course, it depends on where you're at with this man. But if you do want to say something, of course, wait for him to come back, right? Because this works better as a response to him. Then you can say, let's say he disappears for a week, then he comes back and he wants to, see you Saturday night or come over during the week or something like that. You can say, yeah, it would feel really good. It feels so good being with you. And in order for me to continue this connection, I'd really need a little more consistency. Or, I would love to see you this weekend, and I felt a little confused when I didn't hear from you all week. Is there something I should know? And then stop and see what he says. Or, it'd feel incredible to see you on Tuesday. And, in order for me to really date someone and, start investing in that relationship or potential relationship, it feels good to have some consistency, or to kind of know when I'm going to hear from them again, or not, be left waiting. Again, every situation is different, but hopefully that gave you some examples. I wanted to throw that last one in there because that's probably one of the top questions I get is, do I address his hot and cold behavior, or do I just lean back? And so hopefully that helps someone. I just felt like there was someone out there that needed to hear that last message. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Again, let me know your experiences down below in the comment section, and just know that you are so worthy and deserving of having that true partner, right? That really wants to be that masculine energy force in the relationship, who takes your feelings and needs and desires into account when he's, doing things like planning his week out and making decisions and things like that. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out my 3 keys to attract the man you want report and audio training. It's on my website, helenahartcoaching.com, totally free for you guys. So I'll include a link to that in the description right below this video. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time.